All right, folks, here we go. We are going to be looking at some dominant seventh chords, which is a new topic for us. And we're going to be looking at how to build these, how they relate to triads, which we already know. So the first thing that we want to do is just take a peek at exactly what they are. So we see that they have the word chord in them, and so when we see chord, the only real type of chords we know are triads, right? A triad is a three-note chord. So let's look at just a simple triad. So we're going to build one here on G. We're going to build a G triad. So I've got G as my root, which is the lowest note. Third above that is going to be B, and then a third above that is going to be, whoops, not C, it's going to be D. So I've got a three-note chord or a three-note triad here. G, B, D. Root is G, third is B, fifth is D. And this happens to be a G major triad because it's a major third from G to B natural, and it's a perfect fifth from G to D. So that's a major triad. Now, if I want to make this a seventh chord, I have to just follow the pattern. So we had root, then we had the third, then we had the fifth. And if I want it to be a seventh, I'm going to add another note, a third above my highest one so far, because they've all been thirds so far, right? G to B, and then B to D. So now I need to add another third, D to F, and voila, now I have what's called a seventh chord. So the term seventh sort of is a strange thing. It doesn't mean that we have 7 different notes in the chord. It's just a continuation. Root, third, fifth is D, F is the seventh of the chord because F is 7 away from G. It's an interval of a seventh away from G. So that's really, as far as the most simple way to think about it, how we have a seventh chord. That's what's called a seventh chord. Now, we need this to be a dominant seventh chord, and there are a few different ways to think about this one. The chord I built happens to be a dominant seventh chord. I've got root, third, fifth, and we said that the way these are, that makes it a major triad. So all dominant seventh chords have to be built on a major triad. So if I had made this, for instance, B flat, like that, this is no longer a dominant seventh chord because my triad, G, B flat, D, is not major. So it can only be with a major triad. So I'm going to go ahead and make that B flat back into a B natural, and now I'm back to having a major triad, which with this kind of seventh makes it dominant. And the kind of seventh I have here, if we think about when we learned intervals, is from G, the root note, to F, the seventh, is a minor seventh. G to F natural makes a minor seventh. F sharp would have been a major seventh because that's the kind of F that we would have in the key of G major, right? So the key signature of G major is 1 sharp, and that sharp is F sharp. So this chord looks like something I might find in G major. But the interesting thing about dominant seventh chords is that they aren't the kind of chord we would get in the major key that the chord is built on. So we're expecting here, I'm in G, so I should have F sharps. But a dominant seventh chord does not work like that. So that's why when we go back to what I had before, which was an F natural, we know that note doesn't really fit in the key of G major. And so that sort of gives us a hint into another thing we can know about dominant seventh chords. It's that they don't show up exactly where we think they're going to in a key.